Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and I like sharing my advice with you, all my thoughts, perspectives, opinions, ideas, and hopefully you're able to pull some nugget of wisdom out of what it is that I lay down. But if you happen to disagree with something I say, or maybe you have a different way of approaching the issue, by all means, leave a comment. We could have a dialogue. One size definitely does not fit all, but generally speaking, if I'm sharing my perspectives with you in these moments, it's because I've thought about things long enough to be able to talk about them with you, having experiences that I understand intimately. And one of the issues that has bothered me for years, and perhaps I'm on an extreme end of this because of what I've done over these years and can understand it differently, that I kind of take this issue to heart, because as much as you are watching me record this video, as I'm streaming it live on Twitch, as I do every night at 6 p.m., well, not this video, but I'm streaming live on Twitch every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, I am on this side of the camera, and I'm a real human being. I'm talking. And the way that people are interacting with me, whether it's in a comment, a reply, in chat, wherever, you're doing it by way of a screen. But I'm able to read what it is you write. This sounds basic, doesn't it, right? But I'm a human being, and I'm projecting myself into this piece of technology. The camera is capturing my image, the microphone's capturing my audio, and it's being sent out over a series of tubes to you. And you're interacting with me, but you're interacting by way of a screen. And the problem is that some people don't realize that they're actually communicating in these moments with another human being, whether it's live or not. I'm still real. Whether I'm tweeting something, whether I'm doing a video, doesn't matter. If I've put something out there as myself, that's still me. But you're not necessarily interacting with me directly, because we don't necessarily see each other in the same space, like geophysical space, which is amazing if you think about it, because I'm able to reach out and connect with people from all around the world instantaneously. It's the very thing that got me interested in technology, like really, truly being able to connect with people and share passions and interests. It's been the fuel for my passion and interest, is understanding how technology can transform lives. It being an enabler, not so much a destination. But the one thing that you may be missing in this scenario is that you're interacting with me by way of the screen. So you're interacting with the screen. And that screen ain't human. That screen does not have a brain. I do. And whether or not I choose to use it on any given day, that's beside the point. I'm the human being. But when you're interfacing with the screen, this generic slab of glass and potentially plastic and metal and all sorts of stuff, this isn't human. This here, not human. Not even close to it. But you still use it to connect with other human beings. And some people, this is possibly you, forget that there's another human being on the other side of the screen when they are interacting with them by way of that screen. People seem to sideline empathy because they're not interacting with another human being, despite them actually interacting with another human being. They're interacting with this slab of material, this inorganic contraption that's made it possible to connect with somebody else. And this here is the problem. It's not in and of itself a problem. It's that when you're interacting by way of a device to connect with another human being, you have to start ignoring the device. Pay attention to who you're communicating with, not what you're communicating on. Because it's really easy to unload when you're just interacting with this screen. Things that you would never possibly say to someone if they were sitting face to face in the same place. You wouldn't. I've seen it happen so many times over the years where I've confronted people who seem like they're very, very angry at something that I did and they disagree vehemently. And I'm like, I don't know if I ever want to mix and mingle with them. And then inevitably I meet them, and they're like puppy dogs. How could you be the same person? They're the same person. It's just that they didn't realize they were actually communicating with another human being. Or they forgot. It's easy to forget. When you're watching a screen, when you're paying attention to a screen, when that technology is in your control, because you control the experience that you get. You can control everything. What's on the device, when you're using the device, when you're watching, when you're listening, when you're doing whatever. You're in control of that device. You're in control of that technology. But you're not in control of the person that you're listening to. You're not in control of that creator. You're not in control of the person that you're interacting with. And by the way, you're not in control of anybody, FYI. Even when they are in the same meat space as you, as opposed to the virtual world, which is every bit as real. The human being on the other side of your screen is every bit as real as you are. And just because there's a distance between us doesn't necessarily mean that we have to forget our humanity, or being humane, or being realistic, being empathetic. And trust me, I'm probably the last person to ever talk about being empathetic, because I don't think that way, or I should say I don't feel that way. I don't think anybody ever would describe me as an empathetic person at all. I guarantee it. If you asked Diana, she would not say I'm necessarily empathetic, because I tend to cut to the chase. I cut through the chaff to get to the wheat. You know, I'm optimized for time. Or at least I try to be that way. But I also don't forget, when I'm interacting with someone, that I'm interacting with someone by way of something. Are you catching it now? Have I explained it well enough for you to understand that you can't treat people like they're objects, even when you're talking to them or interacting with them through an object? Stop looking at the object. Stop using the object. And think about what you're trying to accomplish, whatever that happens to be. And inevitably, if you're interacting with a human being, you've got a goal. It's easy to lose the best of ourselves when we're not with other people in the same vicinity, right? We're not sitting face to face. Because when we are face to face, there are different responses that we would have, different cues that we would pick up on. You know, I might say to you something that is that offends you, right? Because that happens. It happens all the hell. It happened tonight when I uploaded the TLDR to YouTube. I was sarcastic in the video. I tend to be that way. And this person was trying to be nice, I think, but came across as like, hey, well, maybe you were too sarcastic. I'm like, no, I wasn't. I asked the guy who wanted me to answer his question, and he was fine with it. So I'm going to believe it. Move on with life, not just move on. Just like, okay, just get over it, right? So I would say that to him, even if I was in the same room. Like, dude, he was fine with it, so what's the big deal? Move on. He was respectful. I tried to be respectful, but I also know that what I did, I felt was right. I felt was fair. I felt was good. I felt was informational, useful. And I felt I presented it in my way. And sometimes, especially when there's conflict, we forget that we're interacting with other human beings. And there's more than one way to slice this bread. Okay? More than one way to do this. And that's why I am prone to say that if you have another way of approaching these situations, by all means, let me know. I may disagree, but at least we could potentially have that dialogue. We may not see eye to eye. We may not ever understand each other. But the one thing that we can understand, especially in those moments of conflict, is that we are interacting with other human beings. And you can never put yourself in a situation where you're trying to control what it is that they do. And control who it is that they are. Or try to make them be the person you need them to be for you. It doesn't work that way. That's not right, and it's not fair. The right thing to do is, when you're communicating with another human being, communicate with them. Don't communicate to your device. Don't treat them like they're the technology that you're using.